Welcome back. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson scrambling to gather support for the Senate's budget bill, which would make the 2017 tax cuts permanent. It would also raise the debt limit by $5 trillion. Some Republicans are demanding more spending cuts than what's in that bill. The president meeting with holdouts yesterday. Fox is told he moved some no votes to yes votes. Two House Republicans, however, signed on to a bill limiting the president's ability to impose tariffs without congressional approval, mirroring the Senate's bill. Trump urged Republicans to unite and get this bill passed. Watch.
We got to get this big, beautiful deal done. We got to get it done and get it done now. Don't wait 2 weeks. Don't wait 2 weeks. And we're ready to get this thing done and beyond and get rid of the debt hangover ceiling that's a disaster for our country and for everybody, and to give people the biggest tax cuts they've ever had. Because if we follow through on this agenda, we will be rewarded with a phenomenal economy and a massive victory at the ballot box in 2026.
Joining me now is Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty. Senator, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Can you give us an update on what's happening with this reconciliation package? As you know, markets, investors want some clarity here and want to know that the tax cuts will be extended in the face of uncertainty elsewhere in the agenda.
Certainly, Maria, I'm very optimistic. The House Rules Committee will actually be meeting this morning. President Trump, as you know, met with a number of people in the House last night. I think we'll get this moved through. This budget resolution process will then unlock the reconciliation process, which is where we'll actually get the tax cuts extended. We'll bring the certainty that American business needs to make the capital investments that they want to make. The optimal deadline would be sometime before the 8th of May, but I think we can definitely get this done in the next 4 weeks.
So the next 4 weeks will mean what? Convincing your colleagues that we are going to punt on the more, deeper spending cuts than what the House proposed?
No, I don't think so at all, Maria. We're going to get to work on the committee level to work through and try to bring about as many cuts as we can possibly deliver for the American people. I mean, over time, we want to deliver at least $2 trillion worth of cuts here. There's been some miscommunication, I think, about some of the targets that we set, but we want to make certain the hurdles are low enough that we don't have a procedural issue. But we certainly are going to be shooting high in terms of the cuts that we want to deliver.
Of course, the market doesn't like uncertainty, and we're all watching this market upset over tariffs. Do you feel that you will have new information, some clarity for us by the time you leave for the Easter recess?
I certainly believe so. As you know, Japan's got a team here this week on the ground. I think there's a wonderful opportunity to see, real breakthroughs and real progress. When I served as U.S. ambassador to Japan, we did 2 trade deals there. Our teams know the issues, and I've encouraged the parties to really think broadly, beyond just trade, but also think about our defense relationship, to think about opportunities with energy, ways that we can make our economies much more integrated, much more harmonized, and at the same time, our national security and our energy security needs will be met as well. I'm very optimistic about what will be forthcoming here.
Well, that's great news on Japan. I was referring to the budget bill and the reconciliation plans. Do you think you'll have any new information or anything to share before you leave for the Easter recess regarding that?
Maria, I think as we look at the House Rules Committee today, I think we certainly will. I hope that they'll be able to move on this before we leave for Easter recess. Our teams are certainly working hard here in the Senate on the reconciliation process itself, so we'll be ready to go as soon as we get back from recess to get this passed. So
back to Japan and the tariff story. Senator, there's a lot to work with. You just mentioned a number of things, including the military assistance. What kind of a deal would you recommend in terms of Japan and the U.S. coming together on a lowered tariff, something significant that you think would give us clarity on the tariff situation?
Well, I think we've got a great opportunity here. And Maria, there's an historic reason for this. A lot of these imbalances that President Trump has been signaling very clearly to the market that he wants to address, a lot of these imbalances date all the way back to World War II and the Reconstruction effort afterwards. Japan, European nations got very favorable terms of trade. Now is the time to rectify that, though. These are fully developed economies, and what we've seen is a very deep imbalance We're in the process of getting that adjusted. We started working on that when I was ambassador, but COVID hit. So there's more opportunity there on the terms of trade, but if we broaden this even further, there's a lot more that we can do in terms of defense production, technology development. If you think about energy, Maria, there's a tremendous opportunity for us to cooperate with the Japanese there to send more American energy not only to Japan, but to partner with Japan to send it throughout Southeast Asia. I see great opportunity here, and I've been encouraging the parties to really focus broadly, make the problem larger, and then solve it.
And Senator, what do you want to say about China retaliating this morning? The headline of the morning, China is doubling down and saying that now it's going to put an 84% tariff on U.S. goods.
Well, as I say, China should have seen this coming. President Trump telegraphed this throughout the campaign. He wants to rectify the situation with China. There's an opportunity here as well. I think China needs to step up to the plate. I'm very optimistic that David Perdue, former U.S. Senator, will be confirmed as our ambassador to China very soon. My colleague Steve Daines has been working closely, trying to encourage the right type of cooperation there. And when David Perdue gets into the mix, I think we'll see a lot more opportunity to bring the parties together. That's where we need to head with China.
Yeah, and by the way, China was on its back foot anyway. It didn't even keep its promises on the trade deal that President Trump did in the first term. So you're right. It should have seen it coming. Senator, thanks so much for your work and your leadership and for joining me this morning. Good to see you,
Certainly.
sir.
Great to be with you.
Bill Hagerty
Thank you.
on Capitol Hill.